thank everyone for joining us today for the second of the CUcard Connections of this year. We greatly appreciate your time. I know everyone is busy as well as we are, and we greatly appreciate you joining us this afternoon. I want to first off do a quick review of the website. You can do a question and answer form, so please don't hesitate to submit your questions if you do have any throughout today's presentation, or at the end we'll try to answer those as soon as possible. And I just also wanted to remind you in regards to the archiving. There's archives on the connection on the Connect broadcast, or of the broadcast, and they're on your actual dashboard. You can scroll down to the training materials and have that there where you can look at the last 3 broadcasts that we've previously had in the past. And there's a list of what each entails as well. And we'll just quick reminder in regards to announcements. Anytime you are in Connect, please make sure to always check announcements. We do send out emails occasionally on urgent matters, but at any point throughout the day, we may put information on the right-hand side of the dashboard in regards to positive balance file delays, anything from fraud or skimming information, as well as all the normal daily items we may put in the announcement section. So please don't forget to check that on a daily basis if you are in Connect throughout the day. I just want to go over quickly in regards to our agenda today. We're going to do what's new in the CUcard area. We're going to do a answer your questions forum in regards to the survey we had sent out last week. We're going to do Connect reminders as well as what's ahead. And in regards to starting everything off, we're going to go ahead and do what's new. Currently, we are in the process of contract renewals with Vantiv. Our processing agreement ends in May of 2015, which seems further out than expected, but it is, unfortunately, regarding contracts, is right around the corner. So we're in the midst of contract negotiations with Vantiv at this time related to our CUcard proposals, and we'll get some new proposals out to credit union shortly, and Brian will be contacting each and every one of you to discuss those contracts going forward. The other few things in the CUcard world, and at least regarding our CUcard program, we have our first check imaging ATM terminal we have had installed the last couple of months, and that is up and running at this time. So that's definitely a step in the right direction regarding new technologies. The other area, we also have another credit union who's joined us for an online conversion, and they have completed that conversion at this time and successfully up and running. And the other is just a quick update in regards to Windows 7 for ATM terminals. Those upgrades are finally kicking in, and we have done 1 or 2 of them at this point. It is definitely a challenging upgrade, but the more and more that Diebold and other vendors do, the smoother each conversion will go. So that is what's new at this time. And at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Monica and Jennifer, who are going to do the Answer Your Questions forum, which we had sent out a quick survey last week, just letting everybody put their input in regards to today's broadcast, and we greatly appreciate those questions that were forwarded, and we hope to answer all of those at this time.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. So we'll take it from here. I think Michelle's going to pop over and be working on requests and handling your things as we chat here. So we just want to address some of the, like Michelle said, some of the questions that we got from the survey, and we really appreciate those of you that did take the time to fill that out. I think that's something that we'd like to try to do again in the future, and so definitely keep your eye out for any surveys, and we try to keep them short, so under 5 minutes, and we appreciate your feedback. So one of the questions that we did get was, what is the difference between a PIN reset and a PIN force? And this is something that there is a little bit of confusion around. For a PIN force, it is when you are choosing to force the member's PIN to change it from whatever it is to a new PIN, and you go ahead and submit that, and we will force it right away. And sometimes while we're doing the force, we will submit a reset as well, or you as a credit union may automatically submit that reset. And the reset is really only necessary when the member's been blocked out, and that is 3 or more tries. And so sometimes a credit union chooses just to submit the reset and not do the force, and that's if the member knows their PIN already, they can go ahead and just reset it so they're not blocked anymore. So 3 times or more, you do definitely need the reset, and if you don't mind, while you're in submitting your PIN force, just go ahead and submit the reset as well, and we can, if we don't need the reset, we can just reject it, but it's easier, certainly does help us if you don't mind submitting both the reset and the force in there. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Jennifer? Is that good?
That's good, and a lot of credit unions do force a PIN to test. If you want to just go, if you can't reach the member and you need to force it, and you're not sure what they would like their PIN number to be, that you can also do test the 8378, and then the member can go in and change that right away. So that's another option that we see a lot as well. Another great question that we received was, what is a hot card versus a delete card? A hot card is a card that needs to be blocked for many reasons: lost, stolen, fraud, account closed, needs to be blocked right away. And we can handle that right away for you. A delete card is a card that does not have any transactions for the last 6 months. So no transactions that have occurred in the last 6 months, just because of chargeback rights. We really need to keep that card blocked but not deleted, because of if a chargeback is in process at that time, you can't delete that card. So if there hasn't been any transactions in the last 6 months, you can go ahead and delete the card right off the system. And you can go ahead and submit a delete request in Connect, and it'll error on you if there has been a transaction within the last 6 months. So you'll see an error and you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I can't delete it. I'll just go ahead and submit a hot card if it hasn't been blocked already, or I'll try later to do a delete card. So that's kind of the two options for that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Credit unions may sometimes notice if you submit a hot block request that we reject that hot, and then we go and we submit a delete. And especially if credit unions are submitting several hots of accounts closed or dormant accounts, you may notice that we're rejecting a lot of those and resubmitting a delete, and it's because there hasn't been transactions in 6 months or more, or if the card's never been activated and hasn't been used, if it was lost in the mail. We can go ahead and just delete that. And so you can, if you're in if you're in the card screen where you're looking at the card details, you'll see the last date used, right?
Last transaction date, yeah.
Correct, last transaction date. So you can just check that date, and if it's 6 months, then you're good. Or like Jennifer said, just try the delete, and if you can't, the system won't let you. So that's handy as well. So another question that we got is, this is one we get often, and we do have to do some rejections around this, so we just want to address card exclusions and travel notifications. And so for travel notifications is obviously when your member is traveling, and there's a little bit of confusion about the question of would you like to exclude card from a block? And that you only select if the member is traveling to a blocked country. When you're in the travel notice, right at the top there is a little table there, and I think most credit unions have like 3 or 4 countries blocked. And so each country is listed right there. So if your member is traveling to Australia, they don't need a block. If they're traveling to France or the UK, they may need that block removed, because otherwise they're only going to be able to use it PIN side. So it's really, if you want them to be able to use it signature side, otherwise it will remain blocked. So make sure to check that box first when you're doing travel notices. We are noticing several credit unions automatically selecting to do the exclusion, and that's why you're noticing the rejection, which is no problem. We just go ahead and reject it. It's just not necessary. So you only need to go that far if they're traveling to a blocked country. The other time that you would want to do an exclusion is if they're not traveling but they're purchasing something online through a blocked country. And again, when you go into exclusion, I believe this time, instead of selecting travel notification and the exclusion inside of it, you'll simply select cardholder exclusion. So there's two different options there when you're in the very beginning of submit new request. And so you'd go ahead and just do the exclusion and not the travel, and then put in the country that the member is trying to do the online transaction through. Do you have any other thoughts, or is that?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and if you have any questions, we're always a phone call away or an email away,
right.
And then we can look it up if you're not sure which country it's the transaction's being routed through. We can
right.
always, look that up and let you know for sure. And also if it's a MasterCard Secure Code
right.
issue as well, we can see that. And if the member does need to sign, now go to mastercard.com and sign up for MasterCard Secure Code. The merchant might be requesting that as well. So there might be a couple different issues going on.
Right. Sometimes there are even both at the same time.
Yeah.
UK and MasterCard Secure Code are the most common that go together. So.
Exactly. So we might want to double check that just to make sure it's not, both of them that we need to go ahead and do an exclusion for, or the member signs up for that. Another great question was regarding chargebacks and the underfloor limit purchases. So any the QPS quick payment service merchants that we kind of talk about when we are looking up transactions for fraudulent transactions that your members have noticed on their account, and we're kind of looking into being able to do chargebacks for them. And these, the QPS's quick payment service, these merchants are signing up through MasterCard, are protected for transactions that are $50 or less. That's these transactions that the member doesn't have to sign. You go to grocery store and you just
right.
Swipe it really fast. You don't
right.
need to sign for it. It's very quick and efficient, and you're out the door. And in these cases, chargeback rights do not apply, since for merchants that have signed up for this quick payment service program. And so we've seen it's all of them are really $50 or less. If it's more than that, we can certainly, if it is a online transaction, we can look into seeing if we do have chargeback rights for it.
And there's really no way other than the credit union giving us a call to find out, or you're welcome to just email us the name of the merchant and the transaction date, and we can check that out for you. But there isn't just a straight limit of anything under $50 you shouldn't submit, because some merchants we can do, some of them haven't signed up for the QPS, so it really is dependent upon merchant. But more and more we're seeing ones that fall in this category of $50. But there have been several lately that I know I've been able to do that have been under $50 because they weren't a QPS merchant online, obviously.
So it's always good, to give us a call, and we can look that information up for you and let you know if they fall into this category.
And then also just for your own, the credit union can decide on their own what sort of limit they want to set on chargebacks. And I know we typically recommend not submitting anything under $25, because it does cost $12 to submit the chargeback, and then another $12 when the chargeback if the chargeback is reversed. And so, it really is up to the credit union. Some credit unions like to submit something even if it's $20, but it's, up to each one.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, and I guess our last question was just in regards to chargeback timeframes. And so for this, we actually just want to refer you to our chargeback training manuals that we have. And these are located on the left-hand side of Connect. There are there's the training materials link. And I believe both chargeback forms that we have created, there's one for chargeback reference guide, and I think it's like a step-by-step process for you and your member. So we have 2 guides there that are very helpful, and they are inside the reference
guide, I think.
Reference guides or reference forms. And so if you have any questions on where to find those, but we do reference those pretty frequently. But if you have any employees that are new or someone that's moving into chargebacks and is going to be starting to work on that, that would be a great place to start. Or if you need a refresher and you're wondering, when do I provisionally credit my member? Or I just had my member sign, now where do I go from here? Great thing would be to just print out those 2 pages and go ahead and have the employee just read over those, and we'll be happy to expand on it if you need to, but oftentimes those do reference that. And so for that time frame, we just want to encourage you to go check that out and see if you can find it. And so that's kind of some homework there for that one. But if you can't find it, please do let us know, and we can search for that for you and help you figure that out.
And there's that new chargeback request form, submission form that we had created, and it seems to be working really well. Yeah. We're excited that it seems that for the members and the representatives have all the information all together, and can ask the right questions and get all that information, and it really helps us out when we are keying a chargeback and keying up those chargeback forms for you. So I'm glad that everyone's been using the chargeback submission form, and I'm glad it's working well.
Mm-hmm. And I know just once in a while we get someone that's having a hard time clicking directly on the link that says chargeback request form, and so we encourage the credit union to try, if you hover over it and not actually click it, a little box will pop up to the left near that icon. If you click the box, and then a toolbar will pop down, and then you can just download a copy, and then from there open it or save it to your desktop, and then you could just reference it. You could always have a copy on your desktop for that link. So if you have any troubles opening it, we've had a few credit unions that just need us to walk them through that, and we're happy to do that. And we did also have a question regarding how, and I'll ask this to Jennifer and let you answer, is how would a credit union go about reducing their monthly bill?
Another great question. A great way to reduce your monthly bill is to keep your database as clean as possible, and that reduces the account and card residence fees. So in Connect, under Reports on the left-hand side, there are 2 lists that can help you clean up your database and kind of stay on top of it. And some credit unions choose, once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, just to kind of check on these 2 lists and submit requests when you have a few minutes here and there. The 2 lists are, the first one is the deletable check card list, and that is a list of hot cards without activity for 6 months or more. And so you can just click on this list. It brings up all those cards, and then you just click on each card to go ahead and submit the delete request. And then the second list is the cards without activity list, and that is a list of active cards without activity for the last 6 months. And again, you click on the card number and can go ahead and submit those requests. So it's pretty fast and an efficient way and to clean up the database. And we can always go ahead and if you don't feel like 6 months, you'd rather push it out to a year or even 18 months, we can change those for you to really tailor it to your credit union. So certainly let us know and we can go ahead and make those changes for you. But that is a great way to really clean up your database and reduce fees on your monthly bill.
All right, and I think just our last question that we had received was in regards to card orders and how does a credit union speed up the process of a card order? So we thought we'd kind of just go through the timeline of how, when you order a card and when does it arrive. We typically like to say give the card about 2 weeks to be safe. Sometimes there's a delay, if there's a storm or a holiday, and just the postal service. So we'll kind of do a scenario here. If you, as a credit union, order a card, you place it into Connect on a Monday, we will pick up that card order request on the following business day. So on Tuesday, we will put that request in and order it into Vantiv. Then from there, the following day, Vantiv sends out the PIN mailer. So your member, you probably already know this, your member receives the PIN before the card. So the next day that will be mailed out, so that would be Wednesday, and it will arrive in 4 business days. So that puts you around Monday to Tuesday of the following week, the PIN arriving. So that's really about a week from when you order in Connect to when your member will receive the PIN is, about a week to a week and a half. And then that card is created on the Thursday of that initial week and arrives again to a couple of days after the PIN. So also, 4 to 5 business days after the card is sent out. So hopefully that is clear, but if you order it one day, we will order it in Vantiv the following. The PIN will go out the next day, and then 2 days later the card. And each of those takes, the card and the PIN each take for about 4 business days to arrive to you. So we are looking at about 10, I think we figured 10 days. So it's, a week and a half to 2 weeks definitely is a comfortable time frame to give your member, but typically within 10 days. And to speed up that process, Card Extract, those credit unions that are on our Card Extract program, they are ordering it 1 day earlier, so it does speed it up just by a single day. And the other thing that you can do is you can order a card only and force the PIN, and that will bump out to order the card the following day instead of the PIN mailer. So that also just bumps it a single day. Other than that, that's really all that we can do on our end as far as speeding up the process. But Michelle here is going to talk about instant issue and the opportunity for that and what's involved in that, as that would really be the next step.
Yeah. So thanks again, Jennifer and Monica. I greatly appreciate you answering some of the questions we received, and we want to thank everybody for your time submitting your questions, because it greatly improves our help to you, as well as knowing what you guys need in the future. So please keep your eye out on other surveys. We'd love to do this again, I think, and we again thank you so much for answering our quick survey. In regards to what's ahead, like Monica had mentioned, one of the options down the road for those credit unions who are using an online program with Card Extract will have the opportunity to possibly do instant issue. It is a program that a few other Falcon members, I believe, are currently doing in-house, and so we are looking at that as part of our renewal contract and looking at the vendors that Vantiv works with. And in regards to that, there's just many steps that come into play in regards to having cards in your credit union, buying the equipment that's involved. So it's something we're certainly looking into. I know there's been many requests regarding instant issue. It is something that many other institutions are currently doing at this time, so we definitely want to be able to bring that your way as well. The other couple areas that we're looking at for what's ahead are in regards to card production updates. We just received a notice from Vantiv this week in regards to Oberthur. They, Oberthur Technologies, was acquired by Advent, which was the company that has stocks in Vantiv. And I believe it was in 2009 when Vantiv was purchased, Advent purchased part of Vantiv and had split away from the banks at that time. And now that same company has bought invested interest in Oberthur, and now working with Vantiv one-on-one on bringing new technology to all credit unions. And at this point, in regards to card production updates, we have Vantiv sending out a notice this week just letting us know, by the way, we have this new partnership, and they're looking to improve any areas of card production as soon as possible, and they're going to be moving debit card portfolios over to Oberthur for shipping and production. And end of July, beginning of August timeframe, it's a 6-week plan of each of those programs being moved over. They're then going to move over ATM debit or ATM cards, and then other cards like gift cards and miscellaneous cards. So it's a great place to ship all our stuff to because of the technology and the business they're currently in. So I think it's going to be a great business opportunity for both aspects. In regards to some of the enhancements down the lines, they hope to implement many new technologies right up until 2015, but currently right now, once the conversion is over, there's going to be a few increased advantages of increased window envelopes. It's my understanding that the envelopes of those cards going out are going to be wider, is my understanding, more clearly read, I'm sure, by the postal system, as well as a postmark update on the actual envelopes. They have a facility in Virginia, and they also have a facility in California. And in regards to an actual facility in Virginia, I'm really hoping to find our cards going that direction, being on the East Coast, and I'm hoping to see maybe a new and improved, again, faster shipping time frame. So maybe instead of a 4-day delay when we get that card out to them, it may be decreased, and we'll certainly let you know as soon as possible if we hear that to be. The other few features that they're going to implement is the standard card set. Currently, the standard card set on the card is 21 characters, so they're going to match that character set, just like MasterCard and Visa, as my understanding does as well. And then the first truncation of the actual card number on any of the materials. I believe it just shows the last 4 digits of the card, but they're actually going to put the first 4 digits of the card in the last 4 digits of the card, so that, if you have a couple cards coming in the mail and they have the same last digits, but the first 4 digits are different, you're able to match them more truly. The other areas that we had questions on are features. What features today within the CUcard program am I not using that would be beneficial to our program? And actually, it's hard to answer not knowing the credit union that submitted the question. We have many different programs throughout, depending on the level your credit union is within CUcard program. Again, from the batch environment to the online environment, there's many different aspects of both sides that you might be able to take advantage of. And we certainly ask you, if you do have those type of questions, please submit those by email and we can answer you directly. It's hard just to answer it broadly at this time. But again, as new technology comes down the road and new implementations are coming in, we always try to bring those to you as soon as we negotiate pricing with Vantiv and get those products off to you as soon as possible. The other area that a question came about was what is being controlled in regards to PIN-based networks, having control over a new transaction type. And basically the question that came about was, how do we handle these merchants that are submitting a PIN-based transaction, which actually is PINless, through the PIN-based network without having a signature or PIN being applied to them. And we'll certainly be sending out some more information in regards to that. It is a new transaction type that merchants in the PIN-based world are trying to stay afloat with the MasterCard signature-based and Visa world. They're trying to find an easier, faster, quicker type of transaction, and in this case it's PINless. And PINless currently in our program is bill payments. You can go online and pay your bill through a PINless type of transaction in that way, and those are called bill pays. The new transaction type is a PINless point-of-sale transaction. It unfortunately comes through just like a PIN-based point-of-sale transaction, and the only merchants so far that we have seen take advantage of this program at this point is McDonald's and a few clients that might process through Amazon. And one of the issues that comes into play is the member themselves or cardholders who go to McDonald's doesn't even know that this transaction is going through a different network. So if your credit union may charge a fee for a PIN-based point-of-sale transaction, that transaction will come through and hit the account and they'll get charged, but they're like, I never entered my PIN. So it's making a little bit of confusion. We are certainly working with Vantiv to hopefully be able to have that type of transaction initialize a different way, maybe a different TRAN type. But right now, they're not any clarification on that transaction saying, hey, I'm a PINless merchant, charge it a different way, unfortunately. We do have one area where McDonald's did switch back to an actual MasterCard non-signature based transaction, sort of like you guys were mentioning before regarding the QPS. Again, McDonald's is a QPS merchant, so you go in, you swipe that card, the transaction's under $25 or $50 depending on your threshold, and you get to walk away without signing, again making a faster, quicker transaction. In this case, these PIN networks, NICE and Co-op, are offering this PIN-based point-of-sale PINless transaction, and when MasterCard no longer is in play and the merchant now gets to force their transaction through the way they want to see the transaction go through and which networks, that merchant then selects that transaction to go through this PINless network. So the NICE and Co-op are able to offer something of beneficial to the merchants, but the members have no idea it's happening. So it's made things a little confusing for many credit unions at this point because they are charging fees for those PIN-based point-of-sale transactions. And again, we're working with Vantiv to try to be able to have that as a different TRAN type or have something in the file saying, hey, this is that type of transaction. Again, it's not so popular just yet, but we can see it potentially being more popular, and we'll continue to work with them and get more information out to you as credit unions in regards to these new type of transactions. So at this point, I don't know if there's any other questions or that we can answer at this time. I believe Joe said there isn't any, but we thank you so much for taking the time out today and your patience in regards to the sound, but we greatly appreciate your time, and please always know that we're here to support you in any way that we can. Please just don't hesitate to give us a call, shoot us an email, and we will try to help you in the best way we can, and we'll continue to try to support the survey questions. We had asked a few different questions in regards to what are areas in your credit union that you might be lacking training, and whatever areas in your credit union that we can help you out that may not be training related, just in other areas throughout your credit union and CUcard program, and we'll certainly address those as they come, and get those answers out to others who may have notated who they were, and go from there. So again, we thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, and thank you, Monica and Jennifer, again for joining us, and we hope you have a great afternoon.